Hello, I'm Daniel Thompson, and it doesn't matter if I'm hungry as long as my community is well fed. It doesn't matter if I have less as long as everyone in my community has enough. Over the last year, those are the thoughts that I've had to continue to hammer into my head at every step, really, because people people were on board and people were very excited when I started the Uptown Observer and when I left Kenosha News. And for a time, due to the exposure, everybody started thinking of me as that guy or maybe even the guy. And I think that was a holdover from the huge audience I had in Kenosha News. But at the same time, you had independent journalists like Lakota, Corey, you had Jordan Pauly out there too. You had so many people that were keeping an eye on things. And the sad thing that started to happen over time, particularly with one of those people, is that people kept trying to get me to turn against them. In fact, there were so many times that people have told me that I should look at Corey Elijah as competition, that I should stop supporting him, that he's taking away my audience, that that my support would eventually kind of be the death knell of the Uptown Observer. And here's the thought that I can boil my reaction down to. Maybe I should be dethroned. Every time somebody's asked me to do that, I've always said no. And I will always say no. You see, I don't care. I don't care if it's me. And maybe that's the thing that it's taken people a while to get. When I was in corporate journalism, when I was with Kenosha News, sure I cared. It was business. My job was to ensure that we were the ones people saw first, that we were the ones that got the credit, that we were the ones on the scene. Now that I've left that behind, I really don't care who's on the scene as long as someone is showing my community what is happening. I don't care who it is. I just hope it's somebody. And the thing is, we have a lot of somebodies here in Kenosha. We have a lot of people that are trying to both inform the community, entertain the community, and in the long run, I guess just trying to make the community feel like a community. I've already mentioned Corey, but we also have K-Town Connects. We have Erica Ness, who has her series of conversations at Creative Space, and also does salsa lessons at Creative Space on Tuesday evenings, which is interesting to watch, uh, but a good time. We have people out there, even regular citizens that are constantly organizing things to try to bring the community together, to try to break down the barriers that we've always had. And the truth is that I have no desire to be part of any more barriers. I'm not going to stand against anyone else that is serving the community. There is room for all of us, and I want all of us here. There's a mentality in Kenosha that I find continually frustrating, and it's this: that a small number of things can cover a large area. You can see that with the fact that we have a handful of food pantries for a city of 100,000 people, whereas we're seeing basically as food pantries spread throughout the city because they realize that 3 or 4 are not enough. However, in Kenosha, we look at it and find it sufficient. In Kenosha, you have one newspaper, one that's acknowledged by the Press Association and the AP, the Kenosha News. It is the paper of record, has been for decades. And the thing that is frustrating is there should be more, and there used to be more. There used to be more newspapers everywhere. Counties used to have newspapers and sources spread throughout that told, yeah, they let Kenosha News and newspapers like that tell the bigger stories. They focused on their community because, guys, every part of this county has stories, and they all deserve to be told. I have always refused, since I left Kenosha News, to strike out against Corey and anyone because we need each other. Also, Corey's awesome. What's wrong with you? I can explain the difference between me and me and Corey are friends. Love Corey. We talk to each other all the time and help each other out. Like, no problems between me and him. The difference between me and Corey is Superman. I am Batman. That's putting it in the nerdiest way. But let me explain. Corey is this person that you are drawn to. He is light and he makes you feel good. And he'll explain things to you in a way that you both understand, but again, is assuring. I'm Batman in the fact that when things are down and you really hope somebody shows up, I'm the guy that's going to show up. I will help you out. I'll watch it. I'll observe. And then I'm out. I will always be there when I'm needed, but I also know that I'm not the guy who should give the debriefing after something. I know that I talk in a way that's more brutal than it needs to be. And I know that most people cannot stomach that. I am necessary. Corey is necessary. Lakota is necessary. All of us are necessary. I don't see competition. I see colleagues. I don't see enemies. I see allies trying to help me and everybody else get our city right. Because it takes all of us. You know what happens when we limit the people that we're paying attention to or letting have a platform or letting tell the stories that need to be told? 2020 in Kenosha happens because people see, they don't see the start of the problem. They don't see it coming because nobody's telling the stories you could pick up along the way, telling you that things are getting worse. We need all the eyes that we can. Not because I think people are doing overly nefarious things, not because I think there's anything particularly malicious going on all the time. But the thing is, we need to be more engaged as a community with each other, with our leadership, and we need to allow each other to share space. Again, I will never rise up against, say a bad word about, or treat badly any other journalist, any other person that's had a platform, they will only ever have my undying support because they are needed. And again, maybe I should be dethroned. I think I should. To to give a perspective that I don't go into often publicly. Most people don't know I'm religious. If I wanted to give you guys, at least the ones that know biblical stories, perspective on my ego, where it sits now, a year later after everything, you know what biblical character I often think of myself as is old King Saul. Saul did many great things, but when he went too far, when God removed him as the chosen person, his bloodline is the chosen bloodline to bear Jesus Christ. Saul went mad and he pursued David, who God then chose. And the thing is, I know that there was a time over the last year where my jealousy, where my envy, where my very human and overwhelming vanity made me try to cling to being that guy. So much so that I was chasing the people away and competing with the people that maybe should be in my position or the position I was for a year. Again, maybe I should be dethroned. Maybe my community needs something else. And in the end, it doesn't matter if I go with less, as long as my community has enough. It doesn't matter if I eat less, if I get a smaller piece, as long as my community is well fed. That will never change.